Before we get into the video, I quickly just want to show you his build. Listic's build is very gun-oriented. Yes, he does a couple of melee items here and there, but it's mainly oriented around his gun. And as you can see, most of his purple items are actually actives. He doesn't buy a lot of normal purple items. The slots are there to counter the opponent. Later in the game, we get Berserker and Frenzy. They have really good synergy, and if you are getting very focused, you can go for Colossus. And by the way, I do private coaching in Deadlock, so make sure to head on over to my Discord for more information, and let's get right into the video. I quickly want to thank you all for the support on my recent videos. It does mean a lot, and today we are covering Listic on Abrams, he's very, very known for his Abrams in Europe, and he's one of the best players that we have right now. I've been looking forward to covering one of his replays, so let's get right into this one here. Looks like he's just going to be starting at the wave. The goal right now is just to push the wave as fast as possible. The only real scary thing that we have is the McGinnis wall. Once McGinnis uses it, it's on a 42-second cooldown, I believe. So that kind of gives a 46-second cooldown to begin with, sorry. And that kind of gives us a window to do whatever we want. He starts with his 3, which regenerates a portion of incoming damage over time. It's 14% over 20 seconds. So it's a very, very good ability, and it allows us to just push up and be very, very aggressive. One nice thing about Abrams is that whenever you reload your gun, it doesn't have this reload animation that all the other characters have. He reloads one bullet at a time, so you can be very active with your gun. You're not necessarily stuck in a reload timer when you run out of bullets. And since we started 3, we can poke a lot here. We can take a lot of fights and we can do a lot of different things. And what his 2 does, it charges forwards, and if you collide an enemy with a wall, you stun them. Tries to get the McGinnis there, but it's completely fine. And now the wave is pushed up. The McGinnis kind of matched it, so now we have a window to buy items. Starts with close quarters too, which gives us more weapon damage whenever we're close and gives us a bit of bullet resist. Abrams likes to fight in close range, so close quarters in general is a good item. And during downtime, where there isn't anything to kill in the wave, we just focus on the McGinnis. Notice how he's always playing behind cover and he's trying to play behind his waves. This is just to minimize the amount of damage coming in. And he's like kind of shoulder peeking. Nice. He was very, very close to stunning into the wall. But that is, you can get very creative with Abrams' shoulder charge, by the way. Just look at that sequence that he did. If he hit the wall, it could have been a kill on the McGinnis. I'm not entirely sure, but the McGinnis didn't end up getting stunned by his melee lifesteal, which is super good. It's kind of a natural combo. If you shoulder charge someone, you can try to melee. There is a mind game, though. If they buy debuff reducer, you actually can get parried, so you need to be mindful of this. People in general don't buy debuff reducer this early into the game, and once you buy, if you buy duration extender, which you don't necessarily need to do. Listic does a more gun oriented Abrams, so he's not necessarily focused around the punches. Abrams, yes, is very good at punching, but if you shoulder charge someone and they parry and you have a lot of gun damage, you still do an insane amount of damage, and they're stuck in the parry animation, so they can't really do anything back to you. And once we unlock our 1 ability here, we get a lot of lifesteal from just fighting in a wave. So what a lot of people tend to do in a solo lane is that they sometimes rush a decay. It's not super common in the lower and mid ranks, but once you get towards the higher ranks, you'll see people building decay into Abrams. It's a very, very good item. Provides a lot of anti-heal in this patch, actually. Even more than it used to. And yeah, whenever we are fighting, if there's a larger wave, we can just press R1 and we get a lot of lifesteal. It's very pressured by the McGinnis, but we do have a lot of HP regen, and our 3 is just helping us regenerate that too. We have a lot of money here. Looks like Mo is coming in from the enemy team. Get out of that very fast. We also have the shoulder charge and our 1 of cooldown, so we can do a lot of things there. Goes for heavy melee, or melee charge rather, and this gives us 100% bonus ammo if we hit with our heavy melee. Does give us a lot of weapon damage, bonus HP, and also longer distance on our heavy melee. It's a super valuable item. The more bullets we have with Abrams, the better. And it's just like, it's so nice to just have that on. And we don't necessarily need to force anything here. I mean, if McGinnis uses the wall, like I said, oh, there's the decay that I talked about. McGinnis is at 2.3k, but buys decay. So now McGinnis can actually fight into Abrams. We can't really do super much here. We can't really regenerate as much as we want. And we can't press R1 to heal. So yeah, just like I talked about there, better players tend to rush decay into Abrams, especially if it's in a solo lane. But we don't necessarily need to force anything with Abrams here. We get high velocity mag here to get a bit of extra bullet shield, but also higher velocity on our bullets. So makes farming a bit easier, and our bullets travel faster in general. Goes for the shoulder charge there, pops 1. We know that the decay is on cooldown. Oh, it's off cooldown. Never mind, it just came back. We have our ult available, so we can use that as an escape. If we upgrade it, we get staked by the Vindicta, and that leads to our death, which is it's not the end of the world because the wave is pushing into the tower. We're gonna be back on a good timing. Also, we have zipline speed boost here, so we don't really lose super much. If you look at the gold here, McGinnis is equal to us, but we are actually ahead. The wave pushing back to us is gonna push our gold lead ahead of the McGinnis, and we can just continue sequencing the wave. But yeah, the only scary thing in a 1v1 lane against McGinnis, it's really the wall. If the wall is on cooldown, we can look to do different things, and with Abrams, I think it's worth to try to be creative with your shoulder charges. You don't necessarily need to melee right after, but find interesting angles. If you just try to force it, it gets very obvious. A lot of people tend to show it with their body language. And there's the decay. Shoulder charge. We can't really heal here. I'm not sure. Do we get the kill on the McGinnis? We do. Parries the tower to get out. Looks like a Wraith is coming in though. I think we just die here, to be honest. But we do end up getting the kill on the McGinnis. And again, it's not super bad because the wave is pushing into the tower. So I don't mind. He kind of had to go for that because of the McGinnis wall, right? But it's not super bad. We don't have our speed boost, but we will be back to catch a couple of minions. And McGinnis is losing on this trade regardless, so it's kind of whatever. 2 points in R3 gives us 150 HP, so that's super nice as well. And we also have 1 point in shoulder charge, which gives us a minus 19 cooldown. And also when you upgrade it 2 points, it increases the duration. So when you have 2 points in this, you cannot get parried unless they have a debuff reducer, if you hit a good shoulder charge. And while the wave is kind of chilling in the middle here, we can just grab a couple of boxes and just come back to not lose any farm. Heavy melee is there to get extra bullets in his mag. And I would say we're very strong at this point. I mean, we have our ult available, we have shoulder charge, we have a couple of items. Also get spirit strike there. It reduces their resistance whenever you melee them. Also gives us a spirit shield, so it's very nice. Also gets boots there too. I mean, movement speed is king in this game, and having that on Abrams is very, very nice. Can help with rotations, can help with ganks, can help with finding creative angles with the shoulder charge. Just very, very nice in general. Abrams is also a very good ganker, by the way. So if you shove up the wave to the tower, you can also look to the side lane and see if there's a play to be made there, especially once you have your ult unlocked. You don't necessarily need to stay in the lane the entire time. But here we're just gaining on the McGinnis. We're just getting a lot of farm, so we might as well. I think we want to go buy soon as well. We're on 2,500 gold. Don't forget to spend your money, guys. Ballistic knows that he's strong here. I don't think he necessarily needs to shop, but just be mindful of whatever your next item is. Looks to me like he wants to do a gank here. Misses the shoulder charge. I think Vindicta just flew away instant. No, she actually just dashed away. Never mind. Lash catches her off guard. We're disarmed by Mo. Do we ult in here for the Vindicta, or do we just... No, we don't do that. We go back to the McGinnis. So this is something that you need to be mindful of. So whenever you're ganking, or going for boxes, or going for jungle camps, whenever your wave is... whenever you shove the wave into the enemy tower, you always want to try to be back at your tower when it's crashing, to not lose out on any farm. We don't want to give the enemy anything for free. Against the McGinnis, like... The McGinnis goal, essentially, is to just shove the wave as hard as possible and get as many objectives as early into the game as possible. So, McGinnis really wants this tower. McGinnis really wants our walker. And looks to me like we're buying a hunter's aura there. So, this reduces their resistances next if there's an enemy next to us. If it's only one enemy, it triples the effect. So, she's gonna have about minus, what is it, 27? Minus 27 bullet resist whenever she's close to us. And you see the gun just does a lot of damage on Abrams. So gun Abrams is super viable. You do want to do some punch items, but in general we just want to focus on shooting. Yeah, we just want to focus on shooting, and if we get a shoulder charge in and they don't have debuff reducer, then we can get a melee in for free. And you can also use your ult as an escape tool. Fun fact about decay. If you're close enough, you can hear the decay ticking, and you can kind of locate targets this way. It works the same way if you're playing pocket with the ult. If you're close enough, you can actually hear the ticking. It has directional sounds. You can kind of figure out where somebody is. Goes for the spirit armor there, as there's a lot of spirit damage in this game. Yeah, we're 3 in this lane now. We just want to grab this tower and potentially get a kill here. So I think it's very possible. We do get decayed, so we can't heal. But I think we do have a window here to find a kill. Especially if Bebop finds a hook. We do have Lash ult off cooldown too. Oh, the buffs are spawning, so we need to go for the buff. I think I mentioned this in all of my videos, but please, at 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, in your games, guys, just go for the buff. It's always going to be there. It's going to be there for you. So just shove up the wave, make sure the wave is in a good state, and then just straight up go for the buff. It's going to help you so much. And in this case, Listic gets the movement buff, which gives him more stamina, higher movement speed, and also when he's on a zipline, he travels faster. So it's insane value on Abrams. Goes for the shoulder charge there. I think McGinnis just dies. He doesn't place the wall on the right side. Slams down. Another thing, I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you Abrams ult someone and they get stunned, heavy punching right after is not a true combo. You can actually get parried there. So be mindful of that. If you ult someone and you try to punch, be ready that you might be getting parried. It's not a true combo. And now the wave is looking pretty good. I mean, our team is fighting on the left side, so we can look to do the walker, or we can look to deny farm in the enemy jungle, which I think Listic is about to do. He can just pop his one and do a lot of damage with his punches. Don't forget that the enemy jungle is available to you guys. Whenever you have the tower and the wave is pushed really far, you can go to the enemy jungle, because that is where they go when they have nothing to do. And if there's no jungle available there, then you're denying them gold and you're getting bigger in the game. The only thing you need to be mindful of is that jungling in general is very loud. So Listic was in that basement. If somebody was nearby, they would 100% hear it. They would call it to their team and they would probably go for a kill on him. Using movement there. So remember, whenever you're on a zipline, you can press crouch to let go of the zipline instead of jump. And this causes you to be frictionless for 2 seconds. And if you combine this with a side dash, you generate a lot of speed. And you can combo that with wall jumps and a lot of cool things. So definitely experiment with it and have fun. Have fun in your games with the movement, because I think the movement in general in Deadlock is very, very fun. We heard the McGinnis on the roof here. I'm not sure if he can contest. I mean, he might look for something here. Or we just go for the wave. I mean, that works too. But just look at the gun damage that we're doing at this stage in the game right here. Like, we are 5k up on the McGinnis. We have a debuff reducer too. We have a pristine emblem, which means that we do higher weapon damage if our opponent is above 50% HP. And also they changed it in the recent patch where walkers take increased damage. They have minus 35% resistance at 16 minutes now instead of 14. So be mindful of that. And also there was a hotfix recently where towers have minus 35% resistance at 10 minutes now instead of 8. So there's a small change there. But these timings can help you dictate how easy it is for you to take a walker. But I mean, if you're playing Abrams or a character with a lot of gun damage in general, you can take objectives way earlier than that. And since the wave on the right side here is quite good, we can just grab the jungle on our way out, and then we can look to sequence towards our wave here, and maybe to our jungle or to the shop to spend our money. And in general, we want to spend our money in the secret shop. We don't want to go back to base unless we have a zipline boost or if we need to heal. But in general, we want to sequence towards the secret shop or towards a tower shop, because whenever we get our items, we become stronger. It's a power spike, and we want to be closer to hotspots whenever we are power spiking. So since our tower is up and the wave is pushing in here, he goes there to buy. He buys Cold Front and he buys Duration Extender. So now, if the enemy have a debuff reducer, I'm pretty sure that we can still slam them into a wall and punch them. And also, Cold Front is really good with Abrams, because you're so close to everybody that you're fighting. And also, it does double damage to non-heroes. So whenever you're jungling or catching waves, you get them very fast. But like I said, in general, we are shoulder charging in, or we're ulting in, we're surrounded by enemies. We're normally targeted, so having an AoE slow that does damage around us is just super valuable on Abrams. Just helps us keeping or tracking with our gun, and helps us with finding good shoulder charges. Also buys tier 2 boots there, just for more movement speed, and also so we don't get slowed as much. Goes for the shoulder charge and Ivy there, and just check that damage out. Like, that is just insane already. So much damage, and we don't have insane net worth. Like, this is like 18k. And Lustig is just huge. I'm just looking at the net worth of the enemy team, like how much money everyone has, and like his own team as well. He's just so far ahead of everyone. And this is the creative movement that I was talking about. Just letting go of the zipline with crouch, dashing and wall jumping. You can traverse the map very quickly. Oh, he looks for a shoulder charge there. Gets the McGinnis. And now we can just blast. You love to see it. You love to see it. And the buffs are up, so you can look to get it. And gun buff is just gonna do us wonders. We're gonna have more bullets in our mag, and we're gonna have increased fire rates. So now we're just a monster at this point. We can just take over the entire game. Pretty sure he spotted Wraith, so he's just going around her, trying to go for a shoulder charge. That was a shoulder charge into heavy melee into like 2 or 3 shots. Like, it's just so much damage. And now we can just get out with ult, and everything is good. And I think at this stage of the game, he actually maxed out his ult. And maxing ult on Abrams is super good. It basically gives you an unstoppable buff that you have. Like, you pop it, you're completely unstoppable in the air. You're immune to stun, silence, sleep, root, and disarm. And you have it for 3 seconds after landing. So it's the perfect thing to use whenever you're stealing the mid-boss. And for the first time in my videos, guys, I'm going to pause here, and I'm going to go to the mid-boss and show you how you can steal it. So whenever you're playing Abrams and you're taking the mid boss, you want to use your ult as an unstoppable and you want to land on top of it and heavy punch it, right? But there are positions that you can take that give you a massive advantage. So let's say the enemy team is on the mid boss. They are 6 on it, you're the only person alive, and you want to steal it. You can go to this part of the map, you can jump down into the vent, and you can just sit here. You see how there's a line here? You don't want to touch this at all. And when it's time to steal the rejuve, you press your ult, and this vent here is naturally going to fly you out here. You're going to be in the air, and all you have to do is just time your slam and heavy on the rejuve. Practice this in the sandbox, and I promise you, you're going to be stealing a lot of mid bosses with Abrams. Alright, so let's get back to the chase. Don't think he can really do anything here. I mean, he's getting chased by Mo and Shiv. I'm not sure if this is gonna lead to a death, but Abrams is naturally very tanky, especially with this 3, because it does damage over time on you. Gets cubed and rescue beam, damn. Sorry, it doesn't do damage over time. It regenerates damage over time. Sorry, so we're naturally very, very tanky on Abrams. Yeah, rescue beam and cube on us is super nice. It tops us up, we're full HP, and we can look to do something here with Viscous. And Viscous ball scales with range items now. So if you do like Mystic Reach, is that what Viscous is doing? Yeah, he has Mystic Reach. So his ball is massive. I mean, the replay, I can't even see anything. So I'm not even sure how I'm gonna do a VOD review of a Viscous. Like, how are we gonna see what's going on? Yeah, not super much that we can do here. I mean, the enemy have grabbed the urn, and I think we can just try to force a walker. We get ooh, we just get insanely shut down. I think we could have grabbed the walker, but at the same time, that is a risky play. But I don't mind the attempt. Like, sometimes you just have to try to move the game forward. If you are not this person in your games, guys, then the game might just drag out longer than what it needs to be. So it's completely fine to try that out. If they do end up getting the walker there, then that's good. I mean, it's basically, it's one shot right now. You can just drive by it. Our team is fighting, and they are in a 4v6 right now. I think it's a lost fight, actually. Is the enemy gonna go for a mid-boss here? I mean, Listic is up. He's up in 6 seconds. If the enemy do go for the mid-boss, remember what I did during the pause. Abrams is a master at stealing the mid-boss. Of course, it's hard to execute. There is some randomness to it as well. But it's not impossible for him to do this. It's really not. Like, if you're Abrams and you have your ult max, like, you can just go for it. Let's see. Oh, a little bit too late. No, our team actually gets it. Nice. So there, even if you don't get the punch, just the stun from your ult can help your teammates get it. I didn't realize that our Mirage took it, so that's completely my bad. But yeah, you can just assist so much with it because you cannot be disabled in any way. You have Unstoppable during the entire time in the air and 3 seconds extra when you land. And now we have the mid-boss. When you grab the Rejuvenator, you have everybody's attention, so I like to make a call on what's next. In this case, the walkers aren't down, but we can, for example, look for a pick. We can look to rinse out the enemy jungle. We can make a call that we want to try to push their base guardians. We can make a call that our goal is to get the shrines here. There's a lot of things that you can call out, but the key for me is, in your games, guys, make sure to just make a call when the rejuve is taken, so everybody is on the same page. Some people are not going to follow, but if you can get like 1 or 2 to at least follow the call, that is a success already, instead of everybody just going back into the jungle and farming. Buys bullet resist shredder, because around this timing here people like to build armors. We get berserker in case we get focused, and we also have burst fire here to shoot extra fast. And yeah, just look at that damage. Like, it's insane. Like, he is so big this game. He's just taking over the entire game. It's crazy. And all of this comes from how he played his lane. He generated a lead on McGinnis, and then he converted it. And then he just became huge in his game. And on Abrams, like, he's just a monster. Like, you see, whenever you get this big, you can just take over your games. And to me, it looks like this is going to be the game. You do a lot of objective damage. Like I said on the walker that we watched earlier, you do a lot of objective damage on Abrams. So keep that in mind, especially if you follow Listic's build. Ivy still has her death timer, and on our way out, I mean, we can always look to do enemy jungle to deny them. Because this is, like I said, this is where they're going to be looking if they need gold. And we can take a lot of different fights on Abrams here, honestly. We have all of our tools available. We have an insane amount of items, and also we have our ult in case we need to get out. The only thing you need to be mindful of there is that slowing hex actually, it disables your ult and your 2, because they're both considered movement items. Like, slowing hex in general has a lot of value. So for example, if you're slowing hex a Shiv, it also disables his dash and his ultimate, because his ultimate counts as a movement ability. While Listic is dead here, I can talk a bit more about slowing hex. So if you use it on a pocket, for example, pocket can actually throw his cloak out, but he can't teleport to it if he's slowing hexed. And now Lustig is spawning. And it looks to me like our team wants to grab the urn. I mean, the net worth. I mean, Lustig is huge, right? He's 7k ahead of most of the people on the enemy team. The only person matching him is the Shiv. But overall net worth between the teams is kind of equal right now. So I'm curious how they're going to look to close out the game. I think they're just using the urn to force out something here. Urn is a really, really good tool. If you feel like you're stronger than the enemy team, the urn in general is a very good tool to use to just force a fight. And again, I think it's just worth it to make a call, to be honest, just to move the game forwards. Otherwise, you're in this weird stalemate where people are farming, people are jungling, and things aren't really happening. You'll notice, especially in like lower mid-elo, people just don't know how to end games, and games just drag on way longer than they should. So it's just important that we are in a position where we are big enough to take over the game, and we just try to make some decisions, such as just going for the urn there, right? You see, we go for the urn, and Ivy's reaction is to just go for a walker to try to trade it. If we kill the Ivy here, then we can probably look to push something, but it's kind of hard to chase an Ivy when she flies away like that. Looks like the enemy team is going to trade 2 walkers for that urn, which isn't ideal, but we are stronger and we can look to take a fight here. Like, this might be... I mean, we're very grouped. I see Pocket and Bebop are fighting in mid. The enemy team is very split up right here. We do have our ult available on Abrams. There's the cold front. Just slows him down so much. I think he gets rescue beamed out. And we can just go and shoot, you know? Like, notice how much he's shooting. It's just like... Yeah, it's just blasting with that shotgun. It's just such a nice weapon on Abrams. You do so much weapon damage, and you're very tanky too. And while our teammates are pushing this wave, I mean, we can just get some boxes. Maybe we could do the enemy jungle on the way. But I think this game is just done. I mean, we have 3 kills here. The big mistake that the enemy team did is they got impatient and they split up too much, so they got caught off guard. And like, while the wave is pushing up, we grab the jungle, just being extra efficient. And now we can just look to finish off the game here, because the patron is already dropped from before. Abrams ults, because we have Unstoppable on it. Stuns anyone that is on the patron. I think that's going to be a GG. No, super clean VOD from Lustig. You can learn a lot from this one, and in general, you should be studying his replays if you play any of his characters. And yeah, here's the post-game stream for this one. Top damage, top objective damage too. Just a super clean one, and I really hope you enjoyed. Make sure to comment down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Alright, take care. Bye-bye.